Hello and welcome to 5 tips to help you move along your personal evolution journey. I hope you're looking for some realistic tips that you can adhere to, follow through with, whatever you want to conceptualize it, but support for along the way. So I know some people talk about personal growth and evolution. I do as well. The difference between the two for me is personal growth is something that you've assigned or tasked yourself to improve upon. Some area of your life that you've identified needs to shift. Maybe it's a pain point, maybe it's an area you just want to expand on. That's personal growth. There's intention there. But personal evolution's a little bit different. It can be a spark. It can be all of a sudden just feeling a little bit different, having clarity, or realizing this is what I need to be doing with my life. It feels like we bump forward without effort, really with ease. And it becomes very clear to us that something has changed within us. So hopefully you're here for a little bit of information about that. If you stick around to the end, we're going to do a little bit of meditation. And then we're also going to, if anyone has any questions about their personal evolution, I can pull some cards and we can get a little bit more information about it. So if we haven't met, my name is Mary. I am from Rivers Journey Wellness. I am a therapist, holistic therapist for 25 years. And I started to incorporate blending in energy work and then also a little bit of the nature and shamanic practices that I've learned through my studies, through my personal growth. And now is the time, not only I feel I'm personally evolving, which is exciting, that happens throughout our lifetime, obviously, but I think there's a huge percent of us that are also at that point in their lives where they see this is me, a little bit more authentic, maybe a little bit more of comfort with putting myself out there, a little more clarity on the path that I'm going to take. So hopefully, again, this is exciting for you. It's exciting for me. And always, I write stuff down for myself, whether I'm writing a guided meditation or whether I'm giving you 5 tips. So I'm going to pull that up real quick. If at any point you have a question or a comment, feel free to put it into the chat and I'll try to get to it as I can. And then if you're watching this on replay, obviously you can always put a comment in later on. You can always hit the like and subscribe. That helps me. As you can see, I'm still growing my channel. So that being said, let me pull up my tips. I think if I don't have that written down format, I will get off track very quickly. Probably most people can relate to that too, right? So why today? Why today am I thinking about this? Well, it's sort of been in the stars. And I've heard so many people, not only my clients, but just other people in the community or people that I follow, I listen to, I draw advice or guidance from. But it seems like there's a lot of talk, a lot of chatter about this personal evolution. And again, like I said, it's very exciting for me. So as much as it's exciting for me and for others, I'm sure, it also can really rattle our cage. It can really create stress within us, especially if we have this sense of, I have this new purpose or I have this new direction, or I'm really ready to put myself out there fully. We might not have we might not have the tools to navigate that. We can have that feeling of freshness, something new, something bigger than what we've had, but it may not be the time for it to unfold. So that can create a lot of different thoughts and feelings that stress us out. So here are the 5 tips to move you through your personal evolution. So the first one is probably a very important one for a lot of different times in our life is to try to reduce your stress, worry, and anxiety with a practice of grounding yourself. So obviously, if we have stress, worry, and anxiety at any time of our life, we want to do something to help reduce that. We don't always want to be in that state of overwhelm or feeling maybe even on that brink of a panic attack if things feel too heavy for us. So we do want to have that practice of grounding. And if you don't already have a practice, if you're like, I've never heard of this practice of grounding, basically, it can be through meditation, which is what we're going to do later on, or just bringing yourself back to your body, just having the awareness of what you're experiencing in the moment. You want to be able to identify and address all of the mental and emotional states that are coming up for you that could be potentially problematic. Now, obviously, if you're feeling excited, you're feeling blissful, joyful, that's great. And it's important to note that too. There's nothing that you have to do to shift out of that, but just to be present in that moment and enjoy it. But when there's stress and worry and anxiety, it can really keep us stuck, paralyze us. So we want to have a practice of trying to ground ourselves. If you don't, like I said, have a practice, we're going to walk through it. Otherwise, you can always hit the trails is what I was going to say, but you can go outside and go for a walk, just listening to the sounds of nature, feeling, the breeze on your skin, noticing the sky, if there's clouds or if it's sunny, bright, the temperature. It's really important to be in the moment. That allows the body to just release that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. It sort of soothes that sympathetic nervous system and allows us to kick on the parasympathetic nervous system. And why is this important? Well, if we're feeling stressed or anxious or simply just worried, it gives us an opportunity to start to doubt where we are in our lives, what we're capable of, and what we want. We start listening again to what other people's chatter is, and whether it's good advice for us or not, it starts to outweigh what our inner voice is telling us. But when we're grounded, we're really certain, we're centered, we feel balanced, and we're able to listen to that inner voice that's going to keep encouraging us to move forward. So that first tip is find a practice or keep a practice of grounding. My second tip is when you're in that neutral state, when you're feeling relaxed and grounded, not during that when you're feeling activated, but when you finally get to that place where you're feeling a little bit more calm, take an honest self inventory. So sometimes we aren't really sure where we're going, but we know where we've been. And we can look at that and see what needs to shift in my life to make room for where I want to go. We also want to look at, and this can be a challenging one, we want to look at who's supporting us and who isn't. Maybe it's time to not listen to the dream crushers of our life, right? Maybe it's time to, I always say, gather your tribe, find a new tribe if you don't have supportive people in your life. It's also time to move away from being stuck, feeling stuck, and really listen to what your soul is telling you, what your soul is longing to do in this lifetime. So when you walk through that inventory, you might have some judgment and criticism come up. And if you find that does arise, to try to be a little bit gentle with yourself, be loving and kind. We're just observing with this inventory. We're not assigning it good or bad. We are trying to discern what's helpful and not helpful, but not necessarily we're bad because we didn't do this or it was the wrong choice that we made. We want to be honest, but we don't want to self-sabotage or block our evolution. Within that also, I feel like it's important to take time to rediscover who you are. I feel like with personal growth, you stay the same, but something has strengthened within you, whether it's a skill, a talent, whether it's just getting to bed on time and getting out, the door for work on the time that's going to get you there before, people are starting to look at their watch. But with the personal evolution, I feel like it's a little bit different. We want to really take some time to see who we are without, again, the chatter of other people telling us who we should be, who they think we should be. That, I think, takes a little bit of time. It does need to be an opportunity for you to be honest with yourself, obviously, but also it's a time where you start to get a little bit inspired. Seeing who you are and what you're capable of is pretty exciting when it's tipping the scale towards I'm able to do this, I'm competent, I'm confident, and I'm already on my path to that evolution. Within this, I have a bunch within this one section, but it's really important also to you to, while you're rediscovering who you are, to to kind of check in with your heart's desire, to see what is that thing that you think you're here to do. It's so important for us to think about the path that's going to bring us that bliss and joy, as opposed to, more struggle and scarcity. We don't want to be stuck there. But also start thinking about how you want to contribute not only to your life, but to your community and to the world, obviously, is always a good thing. Within that, we want to start reviewing our core values. So oftentimes we might have core values that aren't the same as other people's. And when we hear them tell us what we should be thinking or doing or even feeling sometimes, it might not coincide with what our core values are. When we kind of go along with the pack and do what everybody else is doing, it may not meet what we think is acceptable for integrity and alignment in our life. So start to rediscover, what are my core values? That's going to be a nice guiding light for you moving forward. Also within this of get into the relaxed state and get grounded is also give yourself permission to explore all of the possibilities of, where this personal evolution is going to bring you, how it's going to elevate you and elevate your life. We want to get excited. We want to be hopeful that with this, it's kind of like a life upgrade, this up leveling or even ascension, sometimes people call it. We want to be able to move with that energy. That energy is going to bring that state of evolution much quicker to us. It's going to meet us much faster than if we're really being resistant and putting more of that negative energy out there. And of course, when we're trying to attract something or move something along, we want to be able to have a practice of gratitude. We want to be grateful for the opportunity that we're able to make a conscious choice for ourselves for our next right step. So if the inventory and just exploring a little bit more of life that feels more aligned with who you are, your core values, if that brings up some worry or anxiety, because as we know, the process of moving through your personal evolution may feel like there's too many unknowns, like there's too many hurdles to get over. It just feels hazy because we can't see the end of it. So just remind yourself that maybe this isn't the time for action, but maybe it's just the time to observe. We have a tendency as humans, when we think we're moving towards something or wanting to move towards something, we add a lot of pressure. We push and we force to create change. This is not the time to be doing that. So if we give ourselves sort of that affirming thought that this is just for observation only. This is just to find a little bit more clarity, that we don't necessarily have to take action. It alleviates some of the worry, some of the stress that we have. We put so much on our shoulders that we have to get it done, yesterday. We have to have learned the thing, 2 weeks ago or whatever it might be. That's just added pressure that we're adding. We don't want that. This might just be the beginning of your dreaming process. So, kind of, as I said before, just tread lightly with this process. It's exciting. I know it can really feel like the unknown can be too overwhelming, but just allow your goals and your desires to go through that refinement process and really be able to observe. And then you're going to find that increased clarity. What should I do with this? So, my third tip is to create or maintain a consistent habit of self care. I know I bring self care up so often, but it's so important. We need to have a process of caring for ourselves fully, whatever our needs are in the moment. It can be as simple as making sure that we're drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, fueling our body with nutritious foods. But it also can be like hitting the pause button, taking a break, thinking about, again, do I want to spend my time with the dream crushers, or do I want to be around people that truly love me? So the self-care will be different person to person. Obviously, everybody has different needs and different things that make them feel grounded and safe, which is what we want to feel with self-care. But this evolving and transforming process, really looking at who you are on soul level, living the life that you desire, or even working and contributing in new ways is exciting. But the worry and the doubt, the fears inevitably will pop up. And when they do, you want to make sure you have that routine of self care. So it's already muscle memory that you can go and say, okay, this is the time that I have to do this for myself so that I can feel more grounded and balanced again. So we can't stop the brain, unfortunately, from bringing up the possibilities of everything that could go wrong. Our brain, it's endless. It can, think of everything that maybe consciously we hadn't even thought of as a possibility that things go south, but it will. And so if we're able to soothe our thoughts, our feelings, the body, if we're able to get back into that place of feeling connected to ourselves and our dreams, it's going to reduce the risk of us getting stuck again or really resisting the evolution of ourselves, right? So that is tip 3. It's kind of a short and sweet one. If you need more information about how do I create a self-care plan or what are some ideas or strategies for self-care, I didn't put it in before I jumped on live, but I'll put in a link to I've created a packet, just a few pages of what you can do as far as a strategy for self-care, how you create that plan, and then I have some affirming thoughts that goes with it. So it's a little bit of everything for, however you work through creating that plan and that routine. So I'll put that in there, but it's just that simple. We need that plan. We need to be consistent with it. And going back up to what I said earlier, we need to be aware of what our emotional state is, where our brain is taking us, and to be able to bring it back to that place where we feel back in control and we feel, our personal power coming forward as opposed to shrinking and feeling powerless in the situation. So, number 4, the next tip goes hand in hand with self care, of course. And this is just to be gentle with yourself throughout this process. Sometimes when we have that up leveling, it can feel really jarring. We start to question what we see, what we know, and that can leave us feeling very discombobulated. I also feel personally, when you are going to have that leap, that upgrade of evolution, I feel really distracted, like I can't think things through, or I jump from one thing to another. I might not even have the energy to do the normal things that I do throughout my day. And it just feels like my body is in some sort of it's going from pause mode to almost like shutting down mode. And then all of a sudden, the next morning or sometime, it's usually the next morning for me, but it could be sometime during the day, we feel revitalized. We feel clear again. We feel like we have that energy. We have that knowledge that we have. We're able to turn that into our own personal wisdom. So it can impact people in a whole bunch of different ways. That's just my experience. But we, again, want to have that practice of self-care, and we want to be able to be gentle with ourselves. And if that's a practice, loving kindness, something you need to practice for yourself, well, you can always contact me. I lead clients through how to create that practice as well. And sometimes we need a little bit of healing to get through the things that are making it feel a little resistant to change and really struggling with the truth of our worth and our value. So that can be something that needs to be worked through, on your own as well. But usually talking to somebody, whether it's a therapist, a coach, an energy worker, something like that, can help you with that process as well. So we want to start we will be in the process, even if we're not totally aware of it, but we will be recalibrating some of our beliefs, some of our knowledge, um, things about yourself, but also about your personal possibilities. And that can feel exciting and that can feel, again, overwhelming. So if you can mindfully move through your day when you feel or you anticipate you're moving through that personal evolution, that is ideal. Now, what does that mean, mindfully working through your day? So I want you to, I encourage you to stop and take some deep breaths when negative or self-sabotaging thoughts come up, which unfortunately they will at some point. But if we're mindful of when those thoughts pop up, we're going to be aware of a couple different things. What triggered that? Why is that still here? Why is that popping up for me now? And then it gives us an opportunity to do something in the moment to decrease those thoughts and decrease the impact those thoughts have or are having on our body, our mind, our energy, our connection to spirit. It's huge to be able to find those moments and really kind of put some salve on it to help support you. Again, mindfulness is a practice that you're going to have to shift gears, and you're going to have to try over and over and over again to be able to naturally be aware, naturally be mindful, naturally checking in with yourself and feeling like you understand what you're experiencing in that moment, and that you are able to take those strategies that you've learned, put them into practice, and then feel a little bit more grounded and balanced. Also, with this piece with being gentle with yourself, I think it's important that, well, it's important for you to know when we have long held beliefs that aren't realistic, they might not even be reasonable, but they're there. They're from maybe our childhood or when we were young adults. They're beginning to shift. And when you're beginning to open to that possibility of more, you're ditching that lack and scarcity, you're creating a new mindset for yourself. Uh, Sometimes it can be one step forward and two steps back. And that's when people get discouraged and just want to throw in the towel and say, this isn't my time, or I'm not ready for this. But just know that it does take a little bit of time for those beliefs to shift and for your beliefs to feel supportive and in line with what you're needing in the moment. So be gentle with yourself. Also, with that is, don't criticize yourself when you do have those two steps back, or when your pace is a little bit different than somebody else's, or that evolution isn't as big as somebody else's. Your evolution will be just what it needs to be in its own time. And if you feel like that twisty path forward, you're not having that clarity to see the end, just give it time. Just be gentle with yourself. Hello. Yes, I will. After I give my 5 tips, I'm on tip number 4. So if you stay with me, you'll get a little bit of that Reiki infused meditation. But I'm glad you're here. Welcome. So going through 4, I'm still stuck on 4. I wouldn't say stuck, but it's a biggie. So instead of really looking at the unknown or the things that still aren't clear to you, we want to shift the focus and think about what our strengths are, to be able to see them and fully believe that they are our strengths, to be able to pat ourselves on the back and say, this is what I know about myself. This is what I know that I can do. This is the stuff that I have done or am hoping to do, right? We want to shift away from the negative and sort of open to the positive. I don't think it's realistic for us to stay focused fully always on the positive, but we do want to be able to emotionally support ourselves. If we're doubting ourselves, I feel like that evolution just doesn't get a good jump start. But when we're open to those possibilities that I can do this. This is something that I've been hoping for, that I can see that this is the time for that big jump. Again, we got to be a little bit gentle with ourselves, but also support what we're able to do. It's okay if the things that maybe we don't have that high level of skill yet, or it's not necessarily a strength of ours, if that is revealed to us. Oftentimes, if there's some struggle that comes up, it might be a lesson. It might be an opportunity for you to, just realize that we all have those strengths and then those struggles. We want to just be able to, though, shift back and allow the change to happen. When we have those 2 steps back, it's okay. The ship's going to right itself, and then we're going to go forward again, and just allow that to happen. We don't, again, want to force or put too much pressure on that change or transformation or evolution happening. So that's really important. And recognizing that if you feel anxiety, or if you feel anxious, or you recognize how scary that it feels, to fully trust yourself, to fully trust the universe for your right next step to unfold or to be revealed to yourself, or you just can't quite see it yet. Again, mindfully move through that. It's okay that that hasn't come yet. It's going to. Just affirming for yourself that it's not it's not a loss or it's not a setback if we do take a couple steps back, because some of these things, especially about the long held beliefs, they do take time to move, to modify, to shed, and then to adopt new ones. Okay, so tip 5. Last step. Consider or be open to considering that all is available to you when you're ready to take that step or allow that leap forward into your period of personal evolution. When we remember the possibilities are actually limitless, I mean, that's mind boggling to me still. But when we allow ourselves to be open to that, maybe we can't conceptualize that completely, but when the opportunities or possibilities are limitless within our universe, when we're viewing that evolution, when we're thinking about this is that time for me, this is how I'm going to bring myself to the world in a new way. We also want to add in that this or better, trusting that whatever is yet to come for us because of this evolution might be bigger or better than we ever imagined, that the universe might show us this new path or bring something into our lives that we hadn't even imagined that is going to be for our highest good. So I think it is that leap of faith, right? You have to put that trust there, but we want to be open to not capping where that personal evolution is going to bring us to, where that it's not going to be an end result or an end of our path, because we're going to continue to have those periods of personal evolution. We just we just will. But we want to really be able to open ourselves up to that the universe might know something that we don't know, something that we haven't even imagined yet is going to be available to us. So trusting in divine timing can be a big struggle. It's a hard one. We are impatient people. Humans are impatient. We want it now. But impatient actually wastes our time. It sort of sours our mood. And that change will happen in its own time. But that path to change, that path before that fullest evolution happens, is going to be for our highest good. So if we can ground, relax a little bit, take time for ourselves, open and expand to what feels aligned with our soul purpose, on our soul level, fulfilling that heart's desire, is going to really be a benefit for you and make that evolution a little bit smoother. I think there's not a lot of good that comes from being impatient. So it's what we revert to sometimes, but not super helpful. So also, sometimes along the way, when we encounter a struggle, that's again when some negative thoughts creep back. And I think I said this before, but we really do want to encourage ourselves, or remind ourselves, affirm for ourselves that these lessons along our growth path are just what we're needing to get to that next place. It's not, we don't want to get stuck on the struggle piece, that like, why is this happening to me again? Or only other people can have that evolution, or that, huge leap forward, or really understand their gifts and talents. We want to eliminate some of that self talk, that it's judgment and criticism, obviously, and just be open to maybe this is a lesson. And again, you don't have to force finding out that answer, but this is just part of my path. This is just part of my evolution. And as much as we can, sort of be open with it. When we're open to that, I think sometimes it makes room for us to also be open for asking for support and help along the way. And that can be from our guides and guardians, or whoever resonates with you. But that is the time, if you're feeling like I don't have that clarity, or I feel like time is ticking and nothing's happening, that's when you want to tap into your support network. Uh, you can ask those guides or guardians for a sign. Show me a sign. Watch those breadcrumbs and synchronicities to really be able to ask for guidance and protection. So if you feel stuck, don't stay in that place. Ask your guides, what will help me get out of this? Or help me get out of this? Or show me the sign of how I'm able to do this on my own. It doesn't always have to be on your own, though. You can actually find, I shouldn't say actually, of course we can, but you can find a supportive tribe, somebody that is going to be, or people that are going to be your cheerleaders that truly see you, who you are, and they want to support your evolution. They want to support you allowing that brightest, biggest piece of you to come forward. So that can be helpful. And also, again, if it feels too overwhelming and you feel like you're stuck or frozen in that negative emotional state or that negative thought pattern, again, you might want to think about seeking out support from a therapist, a coach, energy worker, anybody outside of you that can really support you along the way. I wouldn't necessarily rely fully on friends and family, because sometimes they insert what they want for you, what they want you to do. Even the ones that love us, they might have a bias, right? And when you work with somebody like a counselor or a coach or an energy worker, they don't have that skin in the game. They're not really invested in making you make a decision that aligns with what they want, right? They're solely looking at what you're needing in the moment. So those are my big 5 tips. So hopefully those were helpful. I think this is something that is going to be coming up more and more for us because of just this time, this age that we're in, where people are feeling like this is my time to bring that fullest part of me forward. I know we've been talking a lot about that authentic self, about, who are we at on soul level, what is our heart's desire, thinking about our gifts, talents, seeing how unique we are and being comfortable with that, being good with putting ourselves out there. And again, whatever that means to you, but putting yourself out there in a way that might challenge your comfort level, but it's that way that we open to that evolution and we're able to receive those things that are going to help us on our journey, our path in this lifetime. So hopefully that was helpful. Again, if you're needing support, you can always add a comment, or you can, leave something for me later on after this is posted. You can also reach me at my website, riversjourneywellness.com. So if you're still here and you're hoping to get a little bit of that Reiki infused meditation, we're going to start that process. I am going to talk a little bit quiet. So I'm going to bring my microphone a little bit closer to my face so you can still hear me. But let's just take a little bit of time to settle down. Like I was talking about, that grounding piece. How do we ground? So I invite you, if it feels safe, to close your eyes. If that doesn't feel safe for you, it's okay. You can just soften your gaze, looking out. Just making sure that your body's in a comfortable position, whether it's sitting up or laying down. It's what's right for you. Might want to adjust the body a little bit. Make sure you can just begin releasing a little bit more of the tension. I'm going to sage just a tiny bit. That's a big chunk of sage I have. I just want to start clearing some things out, making space for that evolution. It's beyond personal growth. It's transformation. It's that gift the universe is giving you. It's the gift you're giving yourself to open to new possibilities, new opportunities, to live peacefully and blissfully, feeling like you're meeting your soul's purpose where it's at and moving forward with that. Just going to take a moment to put that out. And if you haven't already, just take a few cleansing breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Just slowing our breath, beginning to release anything that's been causing us stress, worry, the things that have been creating a block possibly for us to continue to move along our journey, maybe even to see our evolution. To hear what our inner voice is whispering to us. We're just beginning to open to that. And as we open, just imagine cords, roots, vines, anything that comes to your mind or feel aligned for you, dropping down from our body, either from the soles of our feet or from the base of our spine, that first chakra. Imagining they're unfurling, moving downward through our floor, through the foundation of the structure we're in, into the soil, through the layers of Mother Earth, just dropping deeper and deeper and deeper until our vines or cords or roots reaches Mother Earth's heart. She's there waiting for you, waiting to support you, always loving you. She gently takes your cords or your vines or your roots into her hands, securing them to her heart. She speaks to you in a gentle whisper, reminding you that it's safe to release your stresses, your burdens, anything that is blocking your next evolution, whether it's conscious or unconscious, releasing them all to her. She's able to take that energy and transform it into something new. And in releasing, we're able to also pull up energy from Mother Earth. Clearing and cleansing our energy, supporting and revitalizing us. Nurturing us in a way that only a divine mother could. Again, just allow that release. Things that no longer serve you. Habits or patterns that you won't need during this next evolution. Letting go of the limiting beliefs that have held you back. kept your inner voice quiet, kept your ideal and authentic self from revealing itself to the world. Just releasing them. And with intention, drawing up that fresh new energy. Take a moment and see where you are on your personal evolution. Just creating a little bit more space for that release. See where you've come from. See where you are. Take a deep breath in, filling the heart space with new energy, allowing that new, fresh energy to flow throughout your body. Further quieting your mind so you can hear the whispers of your inner voice. Your inner voice is telling you it's time. That upgrade, that up level of energy is here. It's yours to harness. It's yours to fuel that heart's desire. Creating dream, turning into reality. The perfect pace, the right amount of support. Listen to your inner voice. Does he, she, they, or them have any messages for you? Your inner voice knows now is the time for that spark. That spark to be ignited in your solar plexus, your personal power, to beautifully bring yourself forward, taking that next step on your soul's journey, revealing your soul's purpose. Solidifying that now is your time. If you're open to those possibilities, open to those opportunities, ready to ascend, a place where your connection to your guides and guardians grow, the relationships deepen. Your knowledge turns to wisdom. You trust and follow your intuition to guide you along the way. Confident that each step is one step closer. A place where you feel not only aligned but perfectly connected to the universe. I'm feeling a lot of pressure and actually heat in my lower back, just where that third chakra is. So I'm just going to do a little bit of clearing for anything that's getting in our way from our past with wielding our personal power. Knowing that it's not destructive, it's not going to hurt others. And the people that don't welcome you for using your personal powers, they're not meant to be in your life. They may have been there for a lesson, for just a brief period of time. But now it's time to follow what our intuition says is true for us. Just take a deep inhale and again release any blocks in your third chakra. Whether you've created that block or other people have. To soothe that energy. Dropping down anything that's distorting or holding you back. Down those cords or vines or roots. With each inhale, just purifying that third chakra. Allowing it to be vibrant and full. Allowing those chakras to recalibrate. To release any old programming, any unhelpful or unsupporting habits or patterns. Replacing those limiting beliefs with something that's more realistic, more reasonable, more true to who you are. Making room for that new awareness of your core values. How you can perfectly align your life with integrity. Honoring your soul's purpose. Quieting the voice that tells you it's too big of a dream. It's not for you. any of the voice that holds you back, creates worry, doubt, and fear, just release that again down your cords. This is your time, your personal evolution, the next one on your path. Begin awakening to that truth. See your world, see yourself with fresh eyes. Recognizing those signs and synchronicities. Trusting and following those breadcrumbs. Just sealing in that energy. Beginning to bring yourself back to your body, back to your room, back to your day. Releasing the meditation, but carrying with you the Reiki energy. And in your own time, when you're ready, you may open your eyes. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you enjoyed the 5 tips for moving through your personal evolution. It's going to keep you feeling stable and steady, calm. For me, it's grounded, it's balanced, and it's open to those new possibilities or new opportunities. And again, if you're needing support or help, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, I look forward to us connecting again in 2 weeks, 2 Fridays at 12 Central Time. That's my time. So you'll have to figure out what time it is for you. But hoping you're going to move through your personal evolution with ease and growth. Take care.